Hello and welcome to TesterSpeak, and I'm your host Brijesh Deb. I met my guest today on the test chat group, and she being an incredible speaker has appeared on a couple of episodes of WIT. Has always, through her thoughts, intrigued the minds of many people because she has got something unique to say every single time. She's got a wide range of topics to talk about. She has immense knowledge based on her experience, a lot of skill, and not to mention an incredible vocabulary to support what she says. So it gives me a lot of pleasure in welcoming to the show Anmol Jalota. Welcome, Anmol.
Hey Brijesh, good morning.
Good morning, Anmol. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. And thank you for such kind words. Very, very happy. And I feel honored.
Well, when I have to describe somebody like you, I fall short of words, and this is what happened. And I'm not going to edit this part, so people should realize that okay, I also lose words, and things happen. But yeah, first things first. Okay, so we are recording this episode on the 13th of September, which happens to be Anmol's birthday. So Anmol, a very happy birthday. Uh,
Thank
I
you so
okay.
much.
I wish you the best of health and a lot of happiness, and keep inspiring people.
You don't know how much it means for me to have it. There are two things. One, having this entire thing, getting a chance to be a part of your illustrious Tester Speak sessions, and of course, happening on my birthday. So, double treat today. I'm very, very happy. Like I said, I'm really blessed. Thank you so very much.
Well, yeah, well, to the audience, well, this is not planned. This is a coincidence. Let me just clarify it. Okay, I was looking for dates, and I had proposed Anmol this date, and I was seeking her availability, and she gladly accepted it, and I was like, and then it was a double smiley that came from the other side, and I was like, okay, seemed the excitement to be too much on the other side, whereas normally I am excited to, and then I realized that okay, it was her birthday, so all worked out really well. I am really happy. Okay,
The
now
double smile, of course, because of the birthday, but the double smiley was, it was just the thought that you think that I'm capable enough to be on this show. After the lineup of speakers that we've had, uh, my body of work is a big fat zero, trust me, compared to what everybody has done. So that I guess that double smiley was that you thought me capable enough and you gave me the honor of being here. So, like I said,
well,
thank you very much.
well, I have to say this. I mean, all the speakers who have appeared on the show so far have been extremely modest, and the level of modesty just keeps on going up with every speaker that I talk to. Okay, it's like okay, I have to probably learn so many things now as to how to be modest. Now this every speaker who comes in and says, well, my body of work is I don't know what, and then suddenly you discover that person has got so much to share. Okay, and I'm pretty sure that we're going to have a similar experience in your case also, uh, because for anybody who is a part of test chat and has read your comments in the group. Okay, number one, to mention one thing is the clarity of thought that I spoke about during the introduction, and the choice of words that you make. That takes it to another level. Okay, to first of all think of some things and then to be able to project it, to be able to express it with the right words, with an absolutely incredible vocabulary. It's just it's just another level. Okay, and your comments in the group, uh, your WIT sessions literally forced me to think, okay, why haven't I got Anmol to the show yet? That was the reason why I reached out to you. Okay, because I want to hear more. I know the audience wants to hear, and that's why we are here today.
Glad to share. See the vocabulary part and everything. I'll tell you what. Everybody has a certain upbringing, and that's, I think, that is what gets absolutely seeped into your DNA.
I'm going to get
I
you on
forced.
full screen. So I'm going to get you on full screen. Okay, so don't worry. I'm here.
Okay, yeah.
Go
So,
on.
like I said, it kind of gets seeped into your DNA. I fortunately have had an upbringing where English was not something that is, you look at it as a foreign language. I have studied in a convent almost all my life, and almost like all convents, we were very particular about talking in English. My father and I have had a relationship where English has been the first mode of communication. So I think that is just about it, nothing more. It's not that I know a lot of words. In fact, I think since I'm aging, I've started forgetting words now. So I'm at a loss of finding good words sometimes when I'm talking. But it's just a habit that has come up. But I'm glad that you noticed, and you've highlighted it. So it feels good.
Well, I want to tell you something, okay, about the growing up and English part of it. I mean, I also have a bit of a story to share here. So I studied in Kendriya Vidyalaya, okay, and Kendriya Vidyalayas are known for their multicultural, diverse environment, okay, and so I studied in two Kendriya Vidyalayas essentially. Kendriya Vidyalaya number one in Delhi, which is Sadar Bazaar, and Kendriya Vidyalaya number one in Jalali in Bangalore. Okay, and in Delhi, Hindi was the primary language. I mean, yes, of course, English was there, but Hindi was usually the mode of communication between students, especially. But in Bangalore, it was a mix of Hindi and English because it is Bangalore. There is a lot of bigger percentage of people or students from southern part of India. Okay. I don't like to call it South India, by the way. It seems like another country. I prefer to call it southern part of India. It's very much India. Okay, so so that was the thing, and but at the same time, my father, okay, he used to talk to us in English all the time, me and my brother, and we were therefore forced kind of to try and keep practicing all the time. And even when dad would normally switch on to Hindi or to Bengali when he was too cool about things. Otherwise, the normal communication, all the scolding and all the
Everything,
outbursts, all in English.
all arguments, all scoldings, everything was. I mean, in fact, once you switch to Hindi, also, I think today also it's a general perception. It's a general fallback. When you're talking and you're arguing, you automatically move to English because that's a language you feel more comfortable in while arguing also. So yeah, and I think that's the
Oh,
same
one of
with
the
my
things,
kids.
yeah, with languages, one of the things that I have learned, and probably a lot of people have also experienced, is that once we are very comfortable in a particular language, we tend to think in that language. Okay,
That's true.
and for me, most of my thoughts come in English. Well, I'm not a native English speaker. I'm still learning. Okay, a lot of words I don't know. Okay, so, yeah, we'll get there someday.
Never-ending language.
Okay.
You will never learn enough, and plus English being English, it is absolutely funny. So there are things that are.
Well, talk about funny languages. Well, come to Europe, and you will realize how uh, important language is to a culture, and how certain words can really mean totally different in different contexts. For example, if you take Dutch or German, they have a lot of words which mean different in different contexts. It's the same word, but the meaning changes based on the context. And then you say, okay, probably the languages that I know are funnier than this because this is pretty damn serious. I, there's a lot of learning to be done here. So, there are so many languages, we have lots to learn, so we'll get there. But since we are talking about you, so I want to bring the focus of the discussion to you. I know that you did not start your career as a tester, right? So please share your journey from being from wherever you started to what you are today, and talk us through those quite interesting moments, thinking of which you are smiling right now. So
Yeah, because you asked the question and it flashed right past me as to, how I started, because it is still so fresh. I mean, it's been a lot of years now, and yet when I think about it, it's just right there. So, okay, I started my career in mainframes as a developer. Now,
mainframe.
that is also very so I'll just take a moment of your time and see how I actually started my journey. So I have done MCA, and as a part of MCA you are supposed to take a 6 months training, and towards the end your sixth semester is a training. So I got my training at HCL Pero. There is
Okay.
no HCL, but at that time there was HCL Pero, and I was one of the 70 odd people they had picked up that year to give training to. No money, no stipend. You were supposed to go, learn, work, whatever. And I walk into this building, and then I'm shown to a conference room, and I sit there. And the very first person that I talk to, he's a Sadaji. He comes and sits with me, and he talks to me. And I've not even passed college. Essentially I'm a final year student right now.
Yeah.
And he comes and asks me very nicely about what I've done, who I am, and all. And I, in all my arrogance, and I thought, I was too good. And I told him, oh, I have done all the obsolete languages of the world. And he's like, okay, like I said, I've done Pascal, I've done Fortran, I've done COBOL. And honestly, I'd done that in my college. So C, C++, and everything started the year I passed out. So that shows how legacy a system I am. But yeah. So, okay, back to that. So he told me, so I said, I've done Pascal, Fortran, and COBOL. And then he looked at me and he said, COBOL. I said, yeah, it's one of the obsolete languages. And he just looked at me very sweetly. He smiled and he said, we work in COBOL. And I looked at him and I had nothing to say at the moment. I said, oh, I get it. Okay. So this was a mainframe project, and I went there, and the first day, and I really want to share this because this is very, very interesting. At the first day, after we had this conversation, and he took me to the Bay Area, and he said, look, this is your seat, sit down and something. And he gave me a book, and he said, why don't you go through this? And I said, okay. And I took the book, I started reading, and it all went over my head. It was so technical, I could make nothing out of it. I kept it on my lap. And since it was my first day at work, I got up early in the morning, and I traveled to reach office. So it was anyways a very adventurous journey in the morning for me. So I kept it on my lap. I put my head on the table, and you wouldn't believe it, I slept. My first day, I put my head, book in my lap, and I slept. And I don't know how long I slept, must have been half an hour or something. And then my team members, it was probably lunchtime, and they came and they called me, and they must have called me a couple of times, and I couldn't hear them because I was into my deep sleep. And then they, so somebody nudged me and he said, no, oh, yeah, and I got up and I said, yeah, I was reading. And they said, okay, yeah, we understand you were reading. Now let's go and have lunch. You must be tired. And we came back after lunch, and I told my lead, and I said, see, and I have seen no experience. I'm a kid, and I walk up to this guy, and I tell him, listen, I can't read. So you want me to learn? Tell me. Sit with me, explain. Give me a computer, I'll learn, but don't give me a book because I'll sleep. Now, having said that, that doesn't mean I don't like reading. I am an avid reader. I mean, my passion, my hobby is reading, not technical stuff though. You give me novels, you give me fiction. I mean, honestly, I'll chartify them like anything, but not technical things. So that is how my journey started, into mainframes. And one of the best teams I had, honestly. I since I got this chance, and I don't know whether they would be listening to it or not, but I would always thank them. To whatever I know as on date, the base, the foundation was all laid in NCL. You know, how do you approach a certain thing? How do you work? How do you put your head to something? It was like big thanks to those 4 or 5 guys who shaped up my future for me, I guess. And why I say that is because so I'm a single child, you know, and I have been a very pampered child. So my parents, I mean, that was the first time my parents had let me out of the house to do something. So I was a very pampered child. That team, you know, gave me so much comfort. They taught me so much, and yet pampered me all the time. So it was beautiful. So sorry, I took a moment talking about it, but that's a memory which is very close to the heart, and it kind of came out. So I started from there, and I did development for a few years. And when I say few, it's about 2.5, 3 years. And then I changed my job because obviously that was training. And by the time, you know, I was into another job in another organization. And I was working. And then one fine day, my project was ramping down. And they said, okay, what you have to do now is, since we're ramping down, and the people who are no longer on the project will be essentially on bench. And why I use the word essentially on benches, because they were literally on bench, wherein we were supposed to sit in a room with a few tables and chairs, no computers, a room full of some dingy books, I guess, again, going back to that same technical stuff. And he was supposed to sit there and read the entire day long. So that was exactly what bench meant at that point in time for that organization. And when you're young, you're ambitious, you have different ideals, and sitting in a room with no computer was just not acceptable. You know, first the shock of you getting on bench. You know, why am I put on bench? Although the reason was something else. They were keeping people either beyond 5 years of experience, or they were keeping, you know, absolute freshers in the project. They had some budget constraints or something. But at that point in time, you don't understand budget constraints. You know, it's very later in the cycle you understand there's something called money which is associated with it. Yeah. So, so I was supposed to go to this bench, and I was very paranoid. I said, I don't want to go. And my manager, thankfully, he knew this other manager who was setting up a testing COE in that company. So he told me, why don't you go and talk to that guy? And I was like, okay. And now look at the audacity. I walked up to this manager, and he's like, he's got at least 15-20 years more experience than I have. And I mean, my experience is negligent, you know, 2.5 years is not an experience as such. And I walk up to him and I tell him, okay, you know, I understand that you are creating something like this and all, and I'd like to be a part of it. And he's like, okay, and so what do you know about testing? And I said, nothing. And he said, then why do you want to do testing? And my answer was, no, I don't want to do testing. And it's like, why are you here? If you don't want to do testing, why are you talking to me? So then I said, okay, listen, I'll tell you my story. So this is what has happened. I was on this project. They're ramping down, but they'll probably ramp up again in the next 6 months. So what I want you to do is take me, keep me for 6 months, and then release me. And I'll go back to development. I just don't want to stick around to testing. And he's like, why not? I said, one, I don't know anything about it. And which was very true. You know, I really didn't know anything about it. Other than what I'd done as a part of my project. And I always thought, you know, me being a developer, that is what I was supposed to do. And unfortunately, in the project that I worked, we did not have specific testers as such. So, you know, that role was never very clear. So I was like, okay. But trust me, that man was kind enough. He took me in spite of my arrogance at that age. He took me. And there's been no looking back since, I guess. I started working, and you start liking something. And then fortunately, over a period of time, I got to do a lot of things, you know. So I tested. I did not stick to just being a tester. And I know, like, for you, testing is, you know, you live and breathe testing. So no, I have not done that for a lot of years. But I became a lead too early on in my life. And because I got good at something, I also became a PO, I became a Scrum Master, things like that. So I did not just stick to testing. And then I got into project management pretty early on. And if you genuinely ask me, I find that very intriguing. I find that particular role very, very challenging. Not that testing is easy. I now manage multiple testing projects. So I've been working with testers very closely enough. Unfortunately, not really doing a lot of hands-on, but yeah, I think that's my journey so far.
Well, I'll find a way of getting you more hands-on. Okay, don't worry. Well, that was an awesome journey to um, go into an office on the first day and
Thank
sleep.
you.
I hope you were not snoring. So
I don't know. I
because
hope not.
because had I been in your place, I would have snored, and that would have been really fun. Okay, so unfortunately, that bit hasn't happened with me. I have not fallen asleep at work, but that's quite interesting. Now you mentioned the point about starting your career, going into a job or sort of a training or an internship or whatever you might want to call it, and with no stipend, no money, and yet have the motivation to learn, right? And then on top of that, have the courage to be able to say things absolutely straight, okay, with a very straight face, no filters, absolutely to the point, on the dot, as they say. So I think that takes a lot of courage. Okay, that takes a lot of guts to do something like that. And I mean, at least I think so. I don't know if you have a different opinion.
I'll tell you something, it does take a lot of courage when we think about it. For so there are two kinds of people. One for whom these things come very naturally enough. And I would again, take it back to my upbringing, because that's how I was always, like I said, one child. When you are in a family with siblings, you learn to be diplomatic. You learn a lot of things, and which are very good for your life, I guess. Being the only child, you are not really put into a situation where you have to fight for things, or you have to be diplomatic, or you have to be very sweet to some, you have to be very sweet sometimes and all. And fortunately, for me, my relationship with my parents, and especially with my father, was such that it was a very, very open relationship. I could talk to him about anything under the sun, and anything. So I remember I was pretty young, and I used to watch. So there was the serial called Baywatch that used to come on TV at that
Yeah,
point
yeah.
in time. And I would watch it with my dad, and so my husband now. So I started dating him when I was in, I wouldn't say school year, kind of school. I just joined college. And I went up and spoke with my father about it. So we had that kind of relationship. So my father, over the years, had only taught me to be very, very straightforward. That's how things are. Why mince words? Why not call a spade a spade? But
Yeah.
I'll tell you something, it doesn't really work all the time. I
Yep.
have learned it the hard way. I have a certain amount of experience now, and I've learned it the hard way. People do not appreciate your honesty. People do not need your honesty. You have to learn to articulate. Now, what I say is that you have to learn to articulate it. You have to learn to be manipulative, honestly, and diplomatic, because that's how the society in general perceives you and expects of you. If you do not fit into that mold, it's a very tough journey. And I've been through those tough times, where people have not really liked. I look at something and I call it as it is, because that's how it should be. But there have been instances, you don't get, you are tasked up for promotions, you don't get good increments, you don't get maybe good. People appreciate your work, because it reflects directly on your work. People appreciate your work. But then when it comes to actually awarding you or rewarding you for the same, it doesn't happen that much. So, and through this conversation, I'm not saying that you should start doing it, but what I'm saying is take a very informed decision as to what you want to be. It's not a rosy picture at the end of the day. It's not that since you are that, and I love being what I am. But if I had to do it all over, maybe I would make a few changes here and there, maybe not change the basic essence, but make a few changes here and there. And I would probably ask my kids to do the same, kind of be honest, but articulate better. That's what I say.
Yeah, that's very important. Now, my journey and my life lessons have been a little opposite of what yours has been. Okay, so I was always taught to be this diplomatic person, respect others' opinion. I was always taught at home. Okay, and yeah, with my dad, I would be very, very honest and very candid and talk almost everything under the sun. But generally, he would also say, when you step out, be nice to people. Okay, and by be nice, I don't know, somehow I inculcated the habit of being a yes man. Okay, yes sir, yes sir. I used to do that a lot, and so in 2006 is the first time that I had my first on-site opportunity, and I went to Denver, Colorado, in the US. My first experience, and I'm sitting in this meeting full of people, and there is this development manager who happened to be my manager back in Mumbai. So he traveled to a different location as a development manager. Okay, he was somewhere in Los Angeles. Yeah, I think in LA, if I'm not wrong. Okay, so he was there and he joined the call from there, and I was here with the testing team. And he said, okay, there are a few things to be done. There is a table to be prepared, some analysis to be done, and some report to be collated. Brijesh, why don't you do it? He said. And I said, okay, I will do it. Okay, and I said, the moment I said it, I saw at least 5 people staring at me in the room where I was sitting. And I was like, shit, what have I done? Did I say something wrong by saying yes? Okay, I did not realize what was going on. And after that meeting, 2 guys, both incredible friends of mine. One of them is an Indian American, and the other one is, a very senior to me, but a great friend. His name is Tom Ward. He lives in Denver, Colorado. I want to mention him especially because these 2 gentlemen, they took me to a conference room, locked the room, and I said, "Are they going to beat me up or something?" And they said, "Why can't you say no? Is that your job?" They asked me. I said, "No, that's not my job." And they said, "Why? Why do you want to still do it? Yes, I understand you are good with analytics, you are good with reporting, but that is not your job. That is his job. Let him do it." Okay, is what the message they gave me. So he said, then I said, "But I have difficulty saying no." He said, "No, nothing doing. You will not do it. Tomorrow, when there is another meeting, when everybody comes together, he will definitely do a status check. Tell him that you're not going to do it." Then I was like thinking, okay, should I say no? Should I say no? How can I say no now? Because I've already said yes. Okay, and on the way back home, Tom used to give me a drop back home from office. So on the way back home, he said, "If you say no tomorrow, I will take you to a party." I said, "Okay." He said the beer will be on me. You can drink as much as you want. Okay, but you have to say no tomorrow. I was at home. The entire evening I spent thinking, how will I say no to this guy? Okay, and this guy being my boss back in India, it would have different implications. Once I go back, he's going to beat me up. Okay, so I kept thinking about it. And the next morning, the meeting started. I don't know what happened. Okay, all of a sudden, he did not even bring up the topic. I said, "You had given me this," and then my room is full of, I think, 20-25 people, and on the other end there are another 30-35 people. So big meeting, okay, 60 people. And I told him that yesterday you had asked me to do these things. Well, all the data is with you, all the information is with you. You have everything. Okay, so why can't you sit and analyze and prepare the report? Anyway, that is not a testing activity. It does not add any value to testing. I'm not going to do it. Being the test lead, I don't think I should be the one who should be doing it. And I said no. And then the people in the room, they were almost ready to clap. Okay, they were almost ready to clap for me saying this. And these two guys who had given me the lecture the previous day were so happy. They were like, yeah, that.
And Brijesh, if you see from this particular instance, there's a very important concept that has just come up. Is about people who will mentor you for the better. People who will do the right things. So when you started, there's a very small example, and that shows how different you and I have been in that sense. I had just started my career, and my manager from US, he would become online at 5:30 p.m. evening, and he would keep a call with me around 5:45, and every day it would be an hour's call. 1 hour, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Now at that point in time, I'd recently gotten married, and my husband used to come and pick me up. I couldn't drive at that point in time. Now he would be there, and I tell him to be here at 6, and since you're newly married, you want to get home soon and whatever. So he would be there at 6. Now I started this new thing that I'm in a call, and trust me, I only had about 4 or 5 months of experience at that point in time after my training internship. And I said, this is not happening, man. I can't do this. So my manager, one day he calls me and I tell him, listen, I cannot stay beyond 6. So if you need to talk to me every day, please call me at 4:30 my time. And I told my friends that I said this to the manager. I'm the on-site manager, and he was a Gora. He was a white man, and he was like, I said, okay, you have to have some shame. He's your damn manager. He's 2 levels up in the hierarchy, 3 levels up, and you are a newcomer. At least think twice before you speak. I said, but that's okay. I can't stay in office every day till 7. That's not what I am. So he's like, okay. You wouldn't believe it. The next day onwards, that guy started calling me at 4:30 because he realized I have to go home. So I have always played on the virtue of being vocal. It is very, very important. Not be, like you said, do not be disrespectful. Do not be full of ego or something, but be vocal. Speak your point out. It helps in every area of life. I mean, छोटी सी चीज है ना. There was an ad also, I think, थोड़ा टाइम पहले आया करती थी ना, कि you ask कि इसमें कुछ extra मिलेगा, and they tell you कि हाँ इतने रुपए का talk time extra मिल जाता है, and they say that never harms, and I believe that asking never harms. पूछने में क्या जाएगा यार. So my husband is very he thinks that you're buying something, and you're at a stall or with a vendor, and bhaiya ये मीठा है ना. So if you're buying some mangoes, and it's like, भैया मीठा है ना. My husband would tell him, नहीं वो तुझे कहेगा कि खट्टा है, मैं खट्टा ले जाऊँ आप. I said no. तो क्या है, कल अगर मीठा नहीं निकलेगा, I can at least come up to him and say कि तुमने झूठ बोला, मुझे मीठा नहीं निकला eventually. It doesn't kill you to ask. So be vocal.
I mean, what happened to me after that call is a totally different thing. I mean, I would like to censor it. If those who want to hear that story can reach out to me for details. A lot of things happened, but that incident changed me, and it changed me completely. And I realized what you just said. Okay, that there is no harm in being honest about things. If there is something which is something that you cannot do, or you are which is not your job, you can always stand up and say no to it. It's fine. Also, if you have a challenge, express that challenge. And this is one cultural difference, I would say. Okay, at least here in Europe and in the US, from what I've experienced. Okay, people respect your opinion. If you say that there is something that I am not going to stay beyond 6 o'clock, I have a challenge. Okay, I have family to look at. They will not hold you beyond 6 p.m. Okay, and this is one good thing, and probably this is a cultural thing, and because people drive culture, because we drive our own culture, I think we have to learn to do that. Okay, if there is somebody, if a colleague says that no, I have a difficulty, I have to be at home at 6 p.m., respect that. Let that person go so that he or she is able to be at home at 6 p.m. and do their thing, and ask them if they need any support in being at home at 6 o'clock and doing what they need to do. I mean, that will, increase the level of trust, first of all. Secondly, it will give confidence to the other person, and you will be able to work with that person better. I have experienced that with the teams that I've worked, and I mean, this is how we should be driving. So that was a wonderful thing for you to share, and that prompted me to talk so much. But it is about you, so let's get back now. From the conversations that I've read, okay, and this is so I was doing my homework as I normally do with all my speakers, and I picked up all the chat conversations involving you. The one thing that clearly came out is that something about leadership that I want to talk about. Okay, I think you made a couple of references when people are saying, okay, leaders should lead from the front. You've said that you have a different perspective. I know those are long threads. People who are a part of TTC might go back to the chats and look for what you've said. So I want to hear it from you. Okay, what is it about leadership that you want to share, okay, or you want to talk about? Because I see you talking a lot about it. I want you to just clarify it for the audience.
Okay. See, Brijesh, when we the first point is, why do we need leaders? We talk a lot about leadership these days, and you go to LinkedIn or you go to any social media platform, there's a huge talk about leaders. And the first question that comes to your mind is that why do you need leaders in the first place? Who is a leader? Why do you need a leader? And that is from where once you understand why you need a leader, you understand how to become one. Do I want to become a leader? Of course I do. Does that mean having a position of power? No, it doesn't. Although I believe that if you need to make a change, bring about a change, you need to be empowered. You need to be enabled. So that is a different thread. But coming to what is leadership all about? And I see that people say that you are lead from the front. Walk right in the front, and people will follow you, and you preach what you practice. And I believe in it. I believe that you set an example. Leaders set an example. Their actions and words are in sync. So whatever you do, whatever you say, you also do. And because there are people following you, they tend to look at you, and then they tend to see those things and say, okay, this guy saying this, and he's also doing it. I should probably imbibe the same, or kind of follow the same. My thought process is a little beyond this also. So I do not negate the fact that you have to lead from the front, but I think that that's not enough. That's just one facet of leadership. There are multiple facets of it. One being that once I'm walking in the front, I should also be ready, and I should be walking right at the back. So when I say right at the back is, when you take an example of when there's a herd going, and there's this shepherd who's taking the herd of sheep or something, flock of sheep he's taking, they tend to stray. They tend to get distracted and move outside. So you're supposed to go in this particular path, and they tend to stray. Now, when he's right at the back, he can see that people are straying, and you get them all back together. That is what a leader is supposed to do, because people will get distracted. People will get digressed from what they are, what their goal should be. Because as humans, we are easily distracted by things around us, So as a leader, my job is to ensure that people keep on that path, so to bring them together. So you're right at the front, you're right at the back. I also believe in another thing, that a leader needs to walk right beside you as well, right next to me. And why is that important? I have certain career aspirations, or I have certain aspirations, right? I have certain thought processes. I want to do something in life. I have certain fears. How will that person who's walking right at the front or right at the back know what I'm thinking? He will only know it when he's walking right beside me, right? When we are talking, when we are at the same level, when he's understanding me, or when he's trying to understand me. So a leader needs to be there right beside me to hear me out, to understand my perspective. There's not a one solution fits all, one dress fits all. There's nothing like that. A leader needs to customize. A leader needs to. So I may not be convinced by what he's saying when he's right there, but when he comes and stands right next to me and he understands my fears and my issues, he might come up. Maybe the solution is the same, but the way he will present it to me will change. So he needs to be right there. Then there are two more things that I believe that a leader needs to do. A leader needs to always put yourself beneath your team or beneath the people. Why is that? Um, as humans, we have this tendency of being very egoistic. That comes naturally to us. The moment you gain power or you have a little more knowledge, you tend to go in a different time zone. So you're already out of this world, and nobody can catch up to you or compare to you. The moment I have this mindset that I'm beneath people, I still maintain that learning mindset in my head. I want to look up and I want to learn. As a leader, if I stop learning, and trust me, the moment I think I'm a leader and I'm good enough, the learning stops. So I have to be vulnerable. I have to be at a position where I'm always ready to learn. So I think I need to put myself beneath the people, and so have that mindset. These people know more than me. I can learn from them. And the last one that I think is that I definitely need to think that I'm above them all. So this is very contradictory if you listen to me, but that's how you put it together. Why I say that I need to be, better than them, because if I don't think that, I cannot guide you. I also need to tell you at some point in time that my experience is better than what you're thinking right now. That is why I am able to direct you. That is why I'm able to guide you in a direction. So leadership for me is a 360-degree circle. It's just not the front, it's just not the back. It's a 360-degree paradigm where you fit everything in all directions, and that's how you uplift yourself, and that's how you uplift the people alongside. So for me, that what I call is being a leader, and that is what I want to become. I want to be uh, uh, smart enough to be able to guide others, but then I want to be at a position where I always have that learning curve open for me, where I look at people and I'm ready to learn. So I think that's how I perceive it. Maybe doesn't sit well with what people think, but for me it's a 360-degree ball. You have to fit in that ball.
Well, for starters, at least I agree with you 100%. Okay. I have a couple of more points to add to what you just said. So if you're walking in front, if you're to make sure that the team is walking with you or at least following you, you have to always keep on looking back. And you know that while driving, looking back is a dangerous thing to do, right? So you have to understand that. Okay. If you are behind them all the time, then there is a danger of you losing sight of people in front because they may go too far ahead. You can't be walking behind all the time. If you are walking below them, okay, then again, people, you mentioned a good word, a three-letter word called ego. It might make them afloat and rise up above like bubbles do. So you have to control that. If you are above them all the time, and which is the condition in most cases, a lot of us say, these people work for me. Okay, that's for me the most uh, silly thing to say. They don't work for you; they work for the organization. We all work for an organization, unless they really work for you. You are the CEO or something like that. Okay, you are the one who's deciding their fate. Blah blah. Okay, so unless that's the case, but normally when you talk about leadership, and especially when you talk about people like test managers, senior test managers, or people at mid-level management, let me put it that way. So yeah, it is a good idea. So for me, it's more like, okay, walking beside the team, walking together. We all are in the journey together. At times, I will put you in front, let you drive. At times, I will be in front. And a beautiful example of that is a story which was shared by our former president, late Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. And I would like to share it again because I find that story so inspiring. He was talking about the GSLV launch under the guidance of Dr. Satish Dhawan, who is the the man behind ISRO, if I may put it. A great personality. If somebody gets a chance, please read about these two gentlemen. They are really incredible, and there is a big leadership lesson here. So when the first time GSLV was launched, it failed. Okay, it burst into flames within few seconds of liftoff, and that time Dr. Satish Dhawan, he said, I will address the press. Okay, and he said that it is my team which has failed, and being the leader, I assure you that within a year we'll come back and we'll do a good launch. Next year, I mean, not even 12 months. I think it was shorter than that. There was a successful launch of GSLV, and that time when Dr. Kalam, he went to Dr. Dhawan and he said, "Sir, it's time for you to address the press again and tell the country about the success." Dr. Dhawan said, "No, you go and address this time." And he said, "Why?" When he asked, he said, "Well, when it is success, it is to belong to the team because the team has made it successful. When it is failure, it is the leader's responsibility to accept the failure so that the team's morale doesn't go down and the team understands how valued they are and their effort is." So this is a lesson that he said, and I've heard this story so many times, and I like it so much. As I was speaking, I have goosebumps because it is so endearing for me. I mean, these two gentlemen, I have done a lot of research about them, read a lot. I've spoken in conferences about these two people specifically. So, I mean, this is a good leadership aspect, and this is, I mean, I agree with your whole 360 degrees approach, but as a leader, I would prefer to be with my people. Okay, beside is the strategy that I choose more often than not. But at the same time, switch gears, move in front sometimes, be at the back sometimes. Okay, go on top at times, but don't start thinking in your head, "Oh, you know what? I am their boss, and these people, they work for me." No, it doesn't work that way. So that is a
Brijesh, you picked up a very pertinent point, and I really like that because you genuinely, you talked about a leader standing for the team, which is and unfortunately, that is not something that you see on a daily basis. And I'm sure you have a lot of years of experience in the industry. I have too. I have seen that throwing someone under the bus is the easiest job you can do. And I've heard people in forums put very conveniently pass on the blame to someone when things are not going right. And trust me, and I'm not saying it because I have to make a point or something, but I really believe as a manager, as a leader, you are the shield. When there's success, it is all there. When it is failure, it is all me. And one, I don't believe in failure, trust me. For me, failure is nothing. The only outcome which is not expected or which was not expected of you, people call it a failure. You were supposed to deliver something and you say, okay, we didn't get this, it's a failure. I don't call it a failure, I call it a learning, and I genuinely call it a learning. It's not it's not being a good I'm not articulating it well. I think that through every single move, you're a sum total of your experiences, and it's your experiences that define you. So even if I was not able to achieve what I set out to achieve, I learned a lot, man. There were so many things that I learned out of it. Good things that I should do, things I shouldn't do. How is it a failure? A failure is only when I refuse to. A failure is only when I refuse to have a takeaway that will help me in future. That is the only time you get a failure. Other than that, through and through, it's a learning experience, always. So yes, you brought it up, and I really wanted to say this because for everyone who's out there, please understand, your team defines you. You do not define the team. So be ready to stand there, to take a stand, take a U-turn, reprimand everybody if you think they're not doing what they're supposed to do. They're going in the wrong direction, whichever way. Talk to them, explain it to them, reprimand them, do whatever. But that is like वो होता है ना, घर की बात है, बाहर नहीं जानी चाहिए. So within your team, घर की बात ही रखो उसे. अंदर कितना भी डांटो, कितना भी लताड़ लो, but when it comes to the outside world, you are that door. Always be that door, because nothing should go beyond you. So that's I also totally believe in that. So thank you for bringing it up.
Well, I have had some music because of that, because of taking stand for the team. I've had some music. Okay, let me put it that way. But that's always been my approach. Okay, it's very simple. Okay, I take care of my team, and the team takes care of the work. It's as simple as that. Okay, I stand for my team, and my team does everything, and they do everything right. I can guarantee you that, because I have experienced this over time, and I know that it works every single time. Okay, when people sort of tend to bring in their egos, when they think they are larger than life, or when they think that, mm, I'm the one who's driving and I should be the one who should be appreciated the most, that's when the downfall begins. Okay, I know that's enough. That's a lot of gyan.
But that's true. Just another small thing. So I take a lot of interviews, and when I'm interviewing people for managerial roles, I tend to ask a question, and I really love this question. It's a simple question that, say you are in a, of course you're managing customers. Customers are your bread and butter and everything, and they mean everything to you. And then you have your team. Who are you biased towards? And that's, I love to hear the answers. But unfortunately, more often than not, I hear people saying that they're biased towards the customers because of the obvious reasons. Money makes the world go round. The customers give you money. So obviously, you're tilted. The balance wheel is tilted towards the customer a little bit. And unfortunately for me, that it doesn't work that way. And not that I don't select a person basis that thought, but it doesn't work that way for me. I do believe that the customer is a very, very important element in the whole equation. No customer, no work, no money. So all this is for nothing. Absolutely. I have to have full honesty, full integrity when I'm working with a customer. So I cannot, shy away from my responsibilities, or I cannot make shortcuts or something. I won't do that. But then there's this team, Now, whatever my customer wants, I am not doing anything. I am just sitting there and I'm looking at people and telling them, okay, this is what the customer wants, you do it. So eventually, who is working? My team. If I do not have a motivated team, if I do not have a team who is happy, I can do whatever. My customer is never going to be happy. So a happy team leads to a happy customer. A happy customer does not necessarily lead to a happy team. So that's a very, so we have to understand my team is very important for me. I have to, and I'm not saying I have to be unnecessarily biased or prejudiced, but I think the moment I understand that this actually is my heartbeat and this is what keeps the system working, I will probably pay a lot more attention here. And everything else would fall in place automatically. I will always have a CSI index of 100% if my team is happy. And that's what I believe, and it has worked for me. So if there might be different opinions, but I think that's worked for me so far. So.
Yeah, I mean, it has worked for me too. If you were to interview me and ask me that question, my bias would always be towards my team. Okay, I have had so much of flack for that. Oh, you don't understand, it's all business. Let me tell you, okay, when we talk of business, how many times have we seen that if we do good work, we get more work from the same customer? Isn't that the case? That if you do good work, you get more work from the customer. The customer has good things to say about us. He will recommend our name to a lot of other people and say, these guys are good, trust me. They will go and say. And you will get more work from them. So, yes, money is of course important. But how do you channelize that money is also important. And the source of that money is your team. Okay, it's not the other way around. We have to understand that as leaders. So that you make some very good points there. Now, let me take you towards testing a little more. And I'm very, 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 very curious to know about something. Yeah. What do you think of testers being respected in the industry? What do you think of when we say, okay, respect for testers? What is your thought? I see you smiling already because I know something is cooking in your head. Laughing rather.
Laughing. Because we are laughing. Because, and no offense meant to anybody. I find this whole debate about respect very, very frivolous. I don't find it. Yeah. So, and that's how I think I talk about everything. What is respect? So, like I started, what is leadership? What is respect? Like everybody has a different notion of respect. What do you actually mean by respect? I look at a person, I listen to his thoughts, I see him doing certain tasks, and I think, wow, this man is doing a great job. He's doing it the right way. What I think, what I perceive is the right way, and I start liking it. For me, that translates into respect. Now, mind you, when I say that, I don't have to be convinced with his thoughts. I don't have to be convinced with what he's saying. I have to be convinced with his intent and the way he's doing it. My respect would come there. So there's an example of the political parties. We don't really, a lot of people are very anti-Modi and a lot of people are very pro-Modi. Now, what makes them anti, what makes them pro is, I think the people who are actually very pro-Modi or who don't like it. So Modi ji is doing a few things, some that you understand, some that you don't understand. Now, when you see him do things in a certain manner, you say, oh, wow, he's doing it very nicely. No, he may not be doing what you want him to do or what you expect him to do, but he's taking the right approach. So when this GST thing came, people said, it has not really helped and all. But somewhere, and I'm only taking an example, guys, this is not political at all. So, but what I'm saying is that some people took a seat back and said, okay, his intent is good. The way he's doing is good. Probably not, I would not have done the same thing. But that is what for me translates into respect. Simple as that. There is nothing else. We have, it's an overrated word, trust me. But what I do feel is that the primary basis is, the basic premise is you have to learn to respect yourself first. Whatever you call respect, whatever, you have to believe in yourself. You have to think.
Can I just clap for that line? You have to respect yourself. That's very well said.
Forget about the word respecting me, as such. I have to have that faith in me. I have to be able to look at myself in the mirror and say, yes, I like myself for what I am doing. I think I am doing right by myself. And this right is kind of, it's a ripple down effect. So I am that pond, I'm doing right by myself, and that right is being reflected in the society around me. For me, that is respect. And I've often thought about it, people say that it's all about respect and all. Tester respect. So coming specific to testing, there's a tester respect. I'd ask you one thing. Say you are you are in a group chatting with your friends, or you have that reunion, say for example, and you have people from all sorts of people you've studied with or you've known. And then the discussion comes in where everybody says, okay, tell us what you're doing. And then somebody comes up and says, oh, I do this, I'm a filmmaker. somebody comes and says, okay, I'm a musician. Then somebody comes up and says, okay, I'm a CEO of an organization, or I'm a developer, or something, or whatever. In that group, will you sit there and say, I'm a tester?
Yes, I will.
And to be happy and proud about it.
Oh yes, I will.
If you can do that, you have enough respect that you need.
Yeah.
I respect myself. I'm proud of what I do. I don't care what you think about me, honestly. I don't need validation from you. Trust me. I have to be doing the right thing. And that is what should count for me. Everything else is just periphery. I get it. Good enough. You agree with me? Good enough. You think I'm doing a good job? Good enough. You don't? It's okay. I'm not here to please you. I'm here to do a job, do it honestly, do it with full conviction, and in the process, try to do some good for the community, for the society. And for me, that is respect enough. Trust me, when I'm proud of myself, people will be proud of me. And you know, there are always two sides of a coin. तो कोई बंदा चोरी करके भी कहेगा मैंने अच्छे से बैंक लूटा. So let's not go there. I'm talking about the so-called right things. कि मैंने तो बहुत अच्छा job किया. So I respect myself for doing that. But yeah, so I hope you get the gist. So that's how I feel. Test of respect is, see, there's another thing also, Brijesh. I am capable of doing anything, guys. मेरे को डेवलपर बनना था, मैं बन सकती थी. I could have gone into something else and done that. I am not here because I'm not smart. It is not the case. I am here because I choose to be a tester, because I find this line of work interesting. I find it intriguing. I find it takes a lot more of my effort. मेरे लिए शायद डेवलप, you never know, कल शायद मेरे लिए डेवलपमेंट बहुत इजी होगा, मुझे कोड लिखना शायद इजी लगेगा, rather than coming to to have a mindset where you have to constantly try to make something better. एक प्रोडक्ट लिया, मतलब जिसको हम बहुत क्रूड टर्म्स में when we say we are trying to find faults in other people's work, जो I agree थोड़ा it comes naturally enough to people these days, but what I'm saying is that I choose to do this job, and it is not because of any lack of smartness on my part, you know. So I respect myself, people will automatically respect me.
That is so well said, and that is so much in line with the tagline of TTC, the test chat group. It says, you are a tester, you are a champion. That is for you to believe that as a tester, you are indeed the champion of probably finding faults. No, I mean, you're the champion of whatever you do. And, you know, we talk of hashtags. My favorite hashtag, of course, is nothing called manual testing, but then there is another one which I also use quite often, and that is proud to be a tester. Okay, and I take a lot of pride, and the situation that you gave me, I have been on that situation a lot of times. Now, some of my friends, you know, with whom I went to school, they are, you know, CEOs. Some of them are respectable doctors, MDs. You know, some people have done MS and all that, and some of them are, you know, big, you know, people in the banking industry, and we have lawyers and stuff like that. So, you know, different professions. And when they ask me, what do you do? Say, I test. Whatever comes my way, I just test. Okay, and I say it because I love it, I enjoy it, and I mean that is something that drives me, and that makes me happy, and I say it with all the pride. I'm least bothered about what opinions you're going to form about me. Okay, you made a very good point about respecting yourself. If you see yourself as somebody doing a great job, okay, in terms of bringing value to the people who are going to use that product, then you'll automatically feel happy about it. I mean, I have spoken to end users who've used the product that I have tested, and when they say that it is a great product, I know that there are bugs in it. Okay, there's no product which is perfect, They also acknowledge that there are some issues here and there, but overall it's a great product, and it does what it does. It is supposed to do. When they say that, and when they've said that to me, and then then I proudly say, you know what, I tested it. Then they think you've done really well. When it comes from there, it makes you feel happy. When I see that products that I've tested are in the market, or when I see that, okay, I spotted some bugs and I told somebody, and those bugs are fixed, and now people are happy using that product and that feature, and then there is a comment on that feature, this is an excellent feature, and you've done testing there. It makes you happy, and that's how I think testers should start looking at things. Well,
And this one thing, Brijesh, there's a we've always, I think you and me and everybody has heard this word, this phrase a lot. There's something called dignity of labor. Now, unfortunately, in India, we don't really have that much of dignity of labor. People don't really understand the concept. And I'm not anti-Indian, guys. And like Ramit sir said, disclaimer: all my views, my thoughts, nothing reflects on the society at large. It's just what I think. But in India, we generally do not have dignity of labor. So why I say this is because I've seen different. I've stayed in US, and I've stayed in other countries, and I know. If there is a guy who's cleaning toilets at an airport, or who's working, say, in Walmart as on the till or something, they still have, they're very proud to be working there. Versus in India, one that you have to have a blue collar job. Only then you are, you are considered to be intelligent and smart and stuff. But I think within that blue collar industry also, we've created these segregations. Why? I mean, talk about IT industry. Is it not enough that you went through you did a lot of studying, to get here? A developer also did the same thing. A tester also, so-called tester also did the same thing. When you also did engineering, I also did engineering. Or either you did a master's degree, I did a master's degree. Both of us put in the same amount of hard work to get here, And then once you get into that field, somebody wants to do one thing, somebody wants to do the other thing. And yet we lose that dignity of labor within the IT industry also. Suddenly started, ये ऊपर है, ये नीचे है, ये उससे नीचे है. You get paid less, you get respected less, or whatever. Why is that? I have made ample efforts, and because we're talking about testing specifically, otherwise, whatever I am doing, guys, I deserve that respect. Correct. Irrespective of what work I'm doing, irrespective of whether I'm a tester or I'm sweeping the floors, I deserve a certain amount of respect, and you're bound to give it to me. That respect again comes or stems from the fact: do I respect what I do? It's simple as that. So yes, I think it all relates to that dignity of labor. Society at large needs to adopt this mindset. Any work is respectable enough. You are putting in your 100%. You are putting in a lot of effort to do it, and it's respectable.
I'll tell you one small incident. I mean, I know that I've been talking a lot about myself also, though it is your TesterSpeak session, but you are giving me so much to think about and talk about. So when I came here in the Netherlands, and I went to my Sojeti office for the first time, and I saw something very interesting, very beautiful, and that really was something very special. Okay, I saw the CEO not only smile at the janitor, but hold the door for him, because he was carrying something and he had to move in with that and all that. Okay, instead of the other way around where the CEO is going and somebody holds the door for him. The CEO smiles, greets the janitor, holds the door for him, lets him inside, asks him, how are you doing, and are you comfortable? Okay, how is it going and all that? And there is a good conversation. And they take a break for a few minutes, few seconds or something like that. And they talk about it, about the things there, and then both of them, go there, go into their jobs or do.
Otherwise, it would have been difficult. He should have given a jadoo ki chappi to that guy. Sorry, little.
Yeah. So that was such a wonderful moment, and I said, yeah, if everybody treats the other person like this, with you don't have to do something extraordinary. Okay, this was a normal human interaction, It's normal human courtesy that you hold the door for somebody, not just for women, but for somebody else. Somebody is following you and you've just entered. Okay, you push the door open. It doesn't hurt you if you hold the door open for that person to come in. Okay. At the worst, what is going to happen? It is going to cost you 2 seconds more, maybe 3 seconds more, 5 seconds more. Okay. It's not going to. The sky is not going to fall. Okay. So it's basic human thing. But anyways, I want to. I mean,
Basic.
you've been training
Just
so
one
many
more
thoughts.
point. We are already running late. There's one more thing. When we talk about these basic things that people do, or they're very comfortable in your space, I think the reason when people become like that is when you're very secure about what you do. That is when you're ready to embrace people around you. If I am always, and we generally work on this crab mentality. I have to rise, I have to pull the other person down. The moment I understand that I'm secure in what I'm doing, I'm good enough at my job, I'm putting in the right amount of efforts, and I'll get where I want to get. I will have no problem in respecting or so-called looking at other people and saying, great job. I'll tell you, and very quickly, I'll give you an incident. You told me about Netherlands. So when we were in US, we went to, so my daughter went to the school, and the first day we went to drop her. The principal of that school was standing on the road. So US has different norms, but then the principal was standing on the road, greeting kids. Hello, how are you?
Yeah.
And then we got the first day, so this guy's come and said hello. Over the next 4 years, 5 years, I saw every single day this man was outside, rain, cold. He would stay outside, he would come, he would greet the kids, take them inside. When there was dispersal, he would stand with the teachers till everybody had kind of taken their kids, the walker ones, and taken them home.
Yes, I've seen that.
We would go to the school. The principal would be putting stickers on the doors. And sometimes we were like, okay, he's the principal, he needs to understand. He doesn't have to do all this. In India, the guard in the school was ego than the principal out there. The guard wouldn't let you go and meet the principal. Madam, क्या काम है? क्यों अंदर जाना है? और वहाँ पर the principal is doing everything. And so, because that's how, see, it depends on how secure you are in your world. तो जब आप सिक्योर हो जाते हो ना, तो आपको बाकियों का people are not are a danger to you anymore, so then you can live peacefully. मैं अपने life everybody has their own space.
And there is another incident. I mean, this is a common practice here, and I've seen this not just in my company, but when I go to speak to other colleagues, they also share the same story. And if say for example the manager feels like having a cup of coffee, he would get up. He will ask people sitting around him, okay, do you guys need coffee? And if they say yes, or they have a preference for what kind of tea they want, he will note down everything and in a tray get tea or coffee for everybody. It's like, and in India we feel very happy in saying, oh, my company has an open door policy. And you know what I say? To hell with open door policy, have a no door policy. Don't have any doors. Sit next to your team member. Sit next to your team. Don't sit in that fancy cabin of yours and say, oh, I have an open door policy. And then people come in, you just turn them down and say, okay, I'll meet you after an hour. Don't be like that. Okay, as a leader, you can't be doing that. Anyways, that's again my thinking. Disclaimer, guys. It's a session full of disclaimers. Okay, and this is just to give you thoughts about how we feel about these topics. I know that it's Anmol's birthday, and I'm not letting her speak. I'm speaking a lot, but then I now come to not Anmol's favorite topic, but my favorite topic: women in testing, WIT. It is something that Anmol has featured twice on. She is the first woman from TTC to have featured twice on WIT. So of course she is special, a special contributor. So Anmol, what do you think of WIT?
Okay, first of all, thank you. Thank you for calling me twice. So one time wasn't enough to have some statements, and then you call me again, and then you say, okay, we want to hear this again from you. But since I think has been very evident from this conversation, I love talking. So if you give me as many sessions, I can talk on anything.
Well, don't think that there is any other reason. The only reason Now, the only reason why we've got you twice is because we know that you are a chatterbox. Okay, so let her do that.
And I don't know if it's good or bad, but I'm very opinionated. I have an opinion about everything. It's just that I don't force my opinions on others, but then I'm very vocal about them. So if I think something, I think it's good to share it with people. No, it's your job to accept it or not, or reject it. So but I can share. What I feel, I have a right to share. So WIT. See, I'll tell you what. WIT in itself is a very what is it? It is just that you've given some women a platform to come forward and share their thoughts. Voice their opinions. Like I said, I have an opinion. You've given me. You've made a small channel and you said, okay, why don't you voice your opinion? Are you doing me a favor? No. Because, and why I say that is, I think that on LinkedIn, recently there was some conversation going about, why this WIT? We are, it's a disgrace to women, something like that. I mean, not the exact words, but the same meaning, I guess. That is wherein you think, वो क्या बोलते हैं कि हम ठेकेदार हैं society के, we are giving women the right to, why do that in the first place and all. I have said this before also in one of my WITs, and I believe it, honestly, that we like it or we don't like it. We live in a very male-dominant society, at least in India. It's a very regressive society that way. And we've not always been like that. We come from we were a very progressive society, but then over the years, things changed and whatever. Today, unfortunately, we are in a framework where there is male dominance. This is a patriarchal society. And now, people like, there's this Tahira Kashyap and all, they've also started smash the patriarchy kind of something they've started, which is another thing. But it is a patriarchal society. Now, as a woman, I have two drawbacks. One, I'm a woman. Second, I have a voice, which is not acceptable. So me being woman is bad enough. Me having a voice is worse. And the society doesn't take gently, nicely to people like me. And because of that reason, women over the years kind of went into a shell. They didn't want to trust me. The circumstances forced them to, they were made to understand that your families are very important. And mind you, I'm not saying your families are not important. We'll probably come to that topic. But what I'm saying is we were not given that platform. There was a carpet under our feet, which was pulled away by the men in the society. Now, all we want from you guys is to put that carpet back. That's all. I am self-sufficient. I am very, very intelligent. I do not need your validation. I do not want you to do things for me. But I want you to put that carpet back at least, because that carpet is with you guys. You took it away. You put that carpet back. I will stand on it. I will make my own place. I will fight for myself. I have my own battles to fight. I know how I want to do it. But I need you to put that carpet back. And that's all I think what WIT is trying to do. You are trying to say thank you in a way that you think best. You've had women do stuff for you for years. WIT thought, okay, there's a way I want to go out and say thank you. That is all I see WIT as. A platform, a way of your saying thank you. Why do people interpret it in a manner that you are giving somebody, unnecessary weightage or something? No, you've not given me anything. You are only saying thank you, and this is your way of saying thank you. I am doing my own stuff. You are not writing my speeches. You are not writing my opinions. I'm doing it all on my own. For thank you, you are recording it. You're putting it. And because you have a name in the industry, you are using that name to say, okay, because I am saying thank you, 20 people who know you will probably come and watch that video. So you are giving us exposure through your channels. But trust me, that's only a way that I think is a thank you from you guys to us for doing too much over the years for you. And that's all it is. Again, I will reiterate, as a woman, I do not need the validation of a man. You are not showing me, and I might sound very feminist, I'm not a feminist, but that's how it is. I am self-sufficient. I am capable. You have to, and I don't have to prove to you that I'm capable. I have to prove to myself that I'm capable. It's me against me here now. It's not me against any man anywhere. Right? So once you do that, so forget, be happy. There's something, you found a chance, you read about some woman saying about something, you read about a man saying something, treat them as equals, yeah. It is not something where you say, a woman needs more. No, a woman needs nothing. A woman doesn't need you to do extra for her. A woman just needs you to treat her as your equal. We treat our women, women are far superior. Of course we are, that's another thing. But that's not what we want to hear. Of course, as women, we do a lot of things better, but we are not here to compare and say we are better. We just want a society where you and I are equals. You are good in some things, I'm good in something, and we walk side by side. That's all. That's a society everybody is looking for. Na aadmi ko upar rakhna hai, na aurat ko upar rakhna hai. Nobody's here to, we don't want a patriarchal society, we don't want a matriarchal society also. We want a society of equality. That's what we are looking at. And I think that's what it should be taken as.
Well, yeah, I mean, just a couple of points that I want to add. One is from your previous point and this point. Guys, please understand, respect is not equal to validation. Okay, we are not going to give validation to anybody, whether as testers or as women. We are not here to do that. We cannot do that. Okay, it's out of scope for us. This is the language people understand, right? In scope, out of scope. So giving respect or giving or validating somebody else is out of scope for us. For us humans, okay. Let me be very clear about it. And what WIT is, I will like to reiterate. I've said this in the previous show with Ramit sir also. I'd like to reiterate. It's a way of giving tribute to women. It's a way of celebrating women. Now, if somebody has qualms about it, okay, God bless you. I can't do much. Okay, so I can't do much more than that. Okay, that is what I think. That is what people also are able to relate to it. And in general, we have seen members of the test chat community. In fact, all of them are in sync and they are happy about this. There is appreciation for this. So I'm glad that people are able to resonate to this. Now, Anmol, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to talk to you on your birthday. And in fact, for allowing me to talk so much on your TesterSpeak. It seems like my TesterSpeak rather than yours. I know some people will say, "Arey, you should have let Anmol speak. Why did you speak so much?" But I'll tell you something. When you started talking and when you gave those examples and you shared your stories, it triggered me to share my stories automatically. So guys, it is a natural reaction to Anmol. So this is more of a chat than a typical interview you would be expecting. And I can't thank Anmol for this, more for this. I mean, she's very kind for letting me speak.
I think that's too much of a learning. I will, and you're right, Brijesh, because when you talk, so what was happening was when you were giving your, talking about your stuff, I was sitting and thinking about things that related to what you were saying. And I know it would have reciprocated, so when I'm talking, because you tend to live through the same moments again, like I said, there was a flash right in front of my face over something. So it happens. And you think, when you're talking about this particular, the last topic that we talked about, women and everything. Now, there's one thing that I've, and I'm just going back to it for a second. you know, a lot of times what happens is that men in this society, they say that we appreciate a woman so much. You know, I really like her for being able to do this, and you know, she's doing a great job, and I'm appreciating you and all. I would just like to say one thing. You know, all of us know there's a very famous saying that the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world, right? So what I mean by this is, I know I'm capable. I'm happy that you're appreciating me. I'm glad everybody likes the acknowledgement and appreciation. But what I would like more is for you to, uh, like I said, walk beside me. You know, so let us walk together. I have, you know, we have a kid, and as a mother, I'm supposed to be good. You know, I'm supposed to be nursing a small baby, and I'm supposed to be looking after him. And as a father, you know, you may probably have, you come and you spend a little time, but you say, you know, I'm not as good. I can't change nappies, or I can't do this or whatever. And I'm very happy my wife is doing a great job. No, I don't want that happiness. I don't want that appreciation. I want you to learn. You know, like I learned to be a homemaker, and I learned to work. I learned, and you can't just be a worker. You know, you just can't go out and earn money. I can do the same. I want you to come and learn to be a homemaker too. So let's work on equality, guys. It's, don't give me appreciation. Give me your apna saath do mujhe. You know, work with me. So I don't want to listen, you're doing a great job. I want to listen, we are doing a great job together about everything. So let's do that, guys. I think that's all. And there's one, I know we need to wrap up and time is running. There is one thing that I really, and I really thought about this saying, because I read it somewhere. There are two sayings actually. I've read them somewhere and they're stuck with me for life. One of them says that, one that I tell my kids each day, you know, and I really believe in it, is what I lack in talent, I make up in hard work. This is not a Gyan session, Brijesh, but why I say that is because as a manager, as a tester, as a mother, as a woman, I cannot have all the talents in the world. You know, I may not be good at everything, but I work hard on each one of them. Every single day of my life, I keep working hard. I put in something extra. And that is how my life is getting out, you know, is turning out to be better. And that is true for everybody else. You can't have all the talents in the world. You have whatever you don't have, just work hard to achieve it. I tell my kids this, and I hope this will resonate with people. And one last thing that I believe is, there's a lot of yarn we've talked about. And this one thing is that if you have to, you know, if you have to become learned, every day add something to yourself. But if you have to become enlightened, every day drop something from yourself. And I love this. हमने जितना बातें किया है, respect, ego, security, ये सब कुछ इसमें, you know, this sums up everything. I'm becoming learned, I'm adding things from people, but I'm becoming enlightened, I'm dropping lalach, you know, the greed, the ego, the anger. Drop those things. Life would be beautiful. एक ही तो जिंदगी है. We have one life. You don't know, even if you believe in reincarnation, you don't know what you're getting, you know, in your next life. Make the best of it. I love being what I am, personally and professionally. I am proud of myself. Everybody be proud of yourself. Do the right things and be proud of yourself.
Well, that is so well said. I am so happy. There are so many takeaways for me personally from this session. Uh, it is absolutely incredible. I have enjoyed talking to you so much. I can go on for a long time, but then you have a birthday to celebrate, and I have I have things to attend to. So maybe we will again do a chapter two. No, I should do this. Maybe we
No,
should.
mark of respect. This is a mark of saying thank you. It is honestly, Brijesh, I am not saying this because it sounds good. I am honored, and I truly feel honored. I'm a very simple person at heart. I'm more of a mother than a manager or a tester or something. I am very happy being in my small cocoon, and I'm very very happy here. And being a part of TTC, it has been a blessing, and I mean it. It has been a blessing. I am not a shy person. I've always been an extrovert. I talk to people and all, but the plethora of options, the plethora of ideas that we exchange through that one group, amazing. It has taken me to another level. I now spend time, I now look forward to reading. So yesterday I couldn't find time, to go through the channel. There was something, a lot of things that were being discussed, and I feel left out now. And I have that, oh my God, I missed something. I've not upgraded myself in 24 hours now. With what so yeah. So, but thank you. It is an absolute honor to know you, to be a part of this group, and to be able to talk to you is like amazing. Any day, let's have another multiple chat sessions. Maybe not record them for people, but let's have such chats then.
No,
You,
I think our conversations, a lot of our conversations are worth recording. I should probably do these short bites and create another TesterSpeak out of it. Okay, so a different TesterSpeak again, and sorry folks for dashing your hopes. I know you wanted to hear more of Anmol and less of me. Probably I'll do that the next time. I'll put a tape here so that I don't speak so much. But then thank you, Anmol. Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy your birthday. Have fun, and we'll of course keep talking. And like I said in a lot of previous episodes, I have to seriously think about a chapter two. And whenever we do that, you know, I will make sure that we have a longer conversation where you talk because you love talking.
I do.
All right. Thank you so much, Anmol. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy
Thank
your
you so.
birthday.
Thank you.
See you. See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.